I finally got to watch Godzilla Minus One, and boy oh boy, what a movie that was. I am so glad I finally got to watch it. But disappointed that I couldn't watch it on the big screen, but anyways, this movie works on so many different levels. It works on the story level, and within the story level itself, it works really well on the human side of the stories, which is a glaring issue, a very glaring lacking issue in the Monsterverse movies that we see. First of all, I need to tell you, I have only seen and I have only followed the Monsterverse movies that started from 2014, but I haven't seen any of the Godzilla movies made by Japan, and this movie was made by Japan, and therefore it is so very different from the Monsterverse movies, and dare I say, so much better in multiple aspects. Now, if you have forgotten, let me remind you, this movie actually won an Oscar for best visual effects. But when you look at the visual effects, you won't see, that was groundbreaking. You won't say that, but you'll definitely appreciate their efforts and really appreciate what they have done when you look at some other factors such as the budget of the movie. And that was the reason why they won best visual effects. Now let me tell you, if you are also someone who have also seen the Monsterverse movies, you will definitely strike out this glaring difference between the Monsterverse movie and Godzilla Minus One made. And the difference is about the story and the main focus of the films. The Monsterverse movies are purely focused on giving some big action spectacles, some mass action spectacles, which in almost every movie lacks that story element, that good enough story element. And you'll agree with me more when you watch Godzilla Minus One, because after watching Godzilla Minus One, you'll understand that how much Godzilla Minus One was just about the story and less about Godzilla, and how all the Monsterverse movies are just high on giving action sequences, on giving mass action sequences, but barely touches upon any good concrete story. And even in that story, the Monsterverse movies just lack a good human side of story, and this is exactly where Godzilla Minus One really shines. Godzilla Minus One tries to talk about a lot of themes, a lot of layered themes like cowardness, courage, redemption, and to everyone's surprise, there was a very cute, very sweet love story in Godzilla Minus One. That was the last thing anyone could expect in a Godzilla movie. And let me tell you, the cute love story is so good that while that love story plot was actually unfolding, I just forgot that I am watching a Godzilla movie. That was too good. Now, here's what Godzilla Minus One does really well from the human side of the story. First of all, it focuses and shows us the real Japan from the eyes of real Japanese creators, and that is why it feels so very organic, and even that it really shows a good amount of Japanese culture. But most importantly, the story is set just after World War II, therefore it shows a lot of range of how the soldiers were actually treated, or how the soldiers had that mental trauma on their heads because of the war. And we generally see this in every World War movie, but here in the context of Godzilla and in the context of some other story elements that were added because of that trauma, and that trauma was majorly associated with Godzilla as well, so that really played pretty well. I think the character arc, the character development of our main lead character, our main pilot, was very good too, because really from the start itself, he is like that coward kind of a guy who just abandoned everyone, who just couldn't shoot when it mattered. Probably it wouldn't mattered when he was shooting Godzilla, when he was about to shoot Godzilla at the start of the movie, but still it shows his character at that point in time. Like, he's not that courageous guy. He actually froze up. He actually froze up when he was about to shoot, and that really shows that how much that actually haunts him. Because of him, so many people died, and that really gives him that room to actually develop and kind of make that sacrifice gesture, or just show the heart of sacrificing himself to save others for their future. And another thing that I really liked about this movie was, this movie is set just after World War II. We are just in the late 1940s, and therefore the technology is not on that scale that we see in the Monsterverse movies, because in the Monsterverse movies there is an instant fix because of the technology for everything, and most often the plans are not that clear, it's just unfolding as we go along. But in this movie, the plans were just concretely shown to us, like this is the plan, this is the backup plan, this is plan A, this is plan B, and everything was laid out very, very nicely for us to just to digest the fact that this movie won't really focus highly on the technology, but it will focus mostly on the courage of the people, on the characters, the decisions that the characters take, and their courage, actually the courage of the people who are fighting Godzilla just for the future of the country, just for the future of the people they love. Basically what I want to say is, these all things made this movie look very grounded, and if you think about it, it's a very difficult job to pull off, because to make a Godzilla movie into a grounded story, a believable grounded story is quite difficult. Then at the end, when we get to the third act of the movie and the Godzilla music kicks in, I lost my shit. I was just locked in. I was just, okay, bring it on. It was just high on intensity. And the music of this movie really deserves appreciation. Not just the overall music, but all the small sound effects that we get. The sound design was really good. And you know, these all things like good enough VFX, the grand scale of the movie, then some great sound design and some cherishable story. These all things really make a movie worthy to watch on a big screen, and you just couldn't do it, and I just couldn't watch it on the big screen. Overall, I would like to say it's a very well made movie. Great on the storyline, great on the human side of the story. Movie really does an conscious effort of just telling the human side of the story, post World War II, the story of Japan, the story of rebuilding of Japan, the story of Japan's people and their fight, that really was shown really organically in the movie. Then also when it mattered, they really didn't shy off from showing the large scale of the movie, the large Godzilla scenes. Godzilla was also given a nice amount of screen time. Then great sound design as well. You should definitely check out the movie on Netflix. And now let's talk about some of the spoilers of the movie. Now, the first big thing that happens in the movie was, the presumed death of Noriko. And I have to tell you, I just called it there and there that Noriko isn't dead. I just called it right there that she isn't dead. She'll definitely be alive and she'll definitely come back at the end of this movie, and there will be that big payoff thing at the end, and they may even include a twist ending in which our main hero, our pilot, actually dies. He actually sacrifices himself, and then later on we all get to know that Noriko is actually alive. That would have been sick as well, and that almost came out to be true. But if you remember, at the end of this movie, we almost think that our pilot actually sacrificed himself. That feeling stays with you for a few seconds, but that really hits you hard. Like, oh god, he actually sacrificed, he actually did that. But then obviously it is revealed that he used the parachute and all. Now let me talk about the scene in which they actually meet, Noriko and our pilot actually meet. I'm sure you must have noted the mark on Noriko's neck, and then straight away we are shown, I think it was the heart of Godzilla, like Godzilla's heart was pumping or something. And that was again a great way to end the movie, with a possible future in place, with a possible sequel in place, and also a nice little twist ending at the end, and just make you think, what was that? What was that mark on Noriko's neck? Does that mean that she was affected by the radiation of Godzilla and therefore she survived, she healed pretty quickly? That could be the case, or on the other hand, it could be like she is still affected by the Godzilla thing and therefore she may die. So all of this came into existence at the end of the story, and therefore it was again just whoa, it was a great experience. Now please tell me in the comments what do you guys think about this movie, and you can check out some other videos on my channel as well. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on the links given below, and as always, thank you so much for watching.